Hello my loves, I'm Ellie Frost. Thank you so much for being on my channel where we are talking about the multi-dimensional approach to rapidly and radically healing and transforming during and after narcissistic abuse. And this video is about how to not let your empathy be used against you during and after narcissistic abuse. You see, one of the most beautiful traits of most of the people that I imagine are here, myself included, is our hearts and our empathy. What does it mean to have empathy? It means that we can very easily put ourselves in someone else's situation. And, you know, I've loved studying human behaviour for so many years that, you know, we care about understanding, compassion, forgiveness, and actually seeing it from other people's point of view. This is one of the healthiest things on the planet. I think empathy will change the world. I think used properly in the right way, right, which is a lesson I've had to learn the very hard way, right, because I am actually here to create change, and I've had to learn some very important lessons along how that can be effective with empathy intact. How can we use it to unite humans in healthy ways and not be the thing that gets exploited and abused and vandalized in them? Yeah. So the first thing to know is what's written in scriptures. Know thyself. When you are sovereign, right, you know who you are authentically, you're sovereign for wherever you are now in your values, boundaries and standards, right? Having empathy for someone else becomes a tool for forgiveness, for compassion, but not a reason to drop those things. This is the biggest thing you're going to have to learn, because like my empathy means I can drop the anger, drop the frustration, drop the blame game, not need to fight with someone. But I will not drop my standards and my boundaries and my values, right? If we learn to do this, empathy is going to be our superpower on the planet. It's going to be the thing that helps us come together. It's going to be the thing that's going to transmute the way people hurt each other, the way they do terrible things to each other, because we are going to use it to understand each other but not excuse bad behaviour. But at the moment our empathy has been exploited and manipulated in a way to exploit others. Now, when you've been in narcissistic abuse cycles, even as an empath, you pick up toxic traits. It is common, right? You've been living in a poisonous situation for you to pick up toxic traits. So it is common to feel like you've had it hard in other people, which you have. You have. There's no doubt about it. And that we have sometimes an attitude that the world owes us a favour, and we can be the types of people that pushes other people's boundaries too. We try and get a discount or a cheaper deal or push a rule because we think people should make an accommodation for us rather than stand in our power and totally respect and honour other people. There is no way in the world you're going to be an energetic match to respect and honour unless you respect and honour everyone else, even people you might be jealous of, even people you think should give you a break or a discount or whatever it is you're after, an exception. When you don't do that, you start playing in a different energetic match. So your empathy, one, it's got to be on both sides. You've got to start not using other people's empathy. So don't be a manipulator. Even a people pleaser is a manipulator. A narcissist is a toxic manipulator in a negative way. They're doing things to exploit you to get their way and to take you away from yourself and control you. A people pleaser is still a form of manipulation because you're doing things to get people to like you. You've got a good intention, but it's still toxic and it's still manipulation. None of it's authentic. We've always got to come back to truth and authenticity. What this means is, no matter how much you empathize with why someone's done something, you've got to know thyself. You've got to know yourself first. My boundary, for example, could be monogamy. Now, I teach you all the time, boundaries are deal breakers. This is where it is. In my work, I have boundaries because it's fair. Otherwise, if someone said, make an exception for me, I'd have to be judging who deserves it. This would not make any sense, right? So I have a boundary. I make an offer. It's clear and it's fair and it's ethical. End of story. I don't sell my soul to anyone, and nor do I make exceptions, because that wouldn't be fair either, right? I do other things for different people at different price points. I do free things. I do other things. It's not my job to do anything beyond what I'm called to do and what I'm capable of doing at any one time. Again, when we've got poor boundaries, we tend to put our responsibility of ourselves on other people because ultimately, in a narcissistic abusive relationship, we haven't taken responsibility for ourselves. We've given it away to the control of the narcissist, and we've got used to being controlled. And actually, we're comfortable there to some extent. The other thing is, my empathy, the only good thing my empathy is going to do, well, not the only thing, but it's going to help me understand humanity. It's going to help me live in peace, because I'm not going to resent people. It's going to be easier to let go of resentments, right? But if I allow my empathy to equal that, because I understand why you are the way you are, I'll now allow you to abuse me. I've gone wrong. This is where it's going wrong. Yeah? Empathy, when it's used in healthy ways for humanity, will be the thing that we'll see less separation. We'll understand, we'll stop the jealousy, we'll stop the competing, we'll stop the judgment, bullying, all that stuff. Empathy is a superpower for that. But where it's not supposed to be used as an excuse is when we empathize with why someone does something or project an excuse on them. They don't mean it. They had a hard childhood, they regret it afterwards. And we over and over again drop our standards, boundaries and values. The minute you drop your boundaries, standards and values, you're not being authentic to who you are and what you want to need, which is what I take you through in Sovereign. Then you've literally sacrificed and disposed of yourself. That wasn't the point of your empathy, you see. Until you get this part aligned, it's difficult for you to not self-sacrifice, which means that you're not going to attract what you truly want, the love you want, the wealth you want, or finances you want, the standards you want in your life, because you're willing to ditch yourself, you see. So empathy can help you forgive, not resent, understand, but it cannot be used. It cannot be used to drop your standards, values and boundaries. If you want to learn more about that, please come into Sovereign. I'm closing it on Sunday for this round. It's very good on this. But it's a really important thing to know. And please be aware of what you pick up in toxicity, which is a subconscious belief that people should make an exception for you, that the world owes you a favour, that you should push and try and get people to push their boundaries and standards for you. And that is just feeding into a toxic cycle all the way around, because you're being a manipulator. Don't use your trauma to manipulate people. Come into Sovereign or externally find someone to help you and heal. We've got to stop this cycle. We're not just, we're a counterpart to it. Even as a codependent, as a people pleaser, as someone who's now using pain to get favours. We don't want to operate like this, as we don't need to share details with strangers or with anyone really on our trauma. We want to find productive tools to help us heal. We've got to stop trauma bonding. We've got to stop manipulating. We've got to stop being part of the problem and everything about the solution, because empathy on this planet will stop people seeing the difference in the rich and the poor, the different religions, the different cultures. It will bring people together on good things that are going to change the entire planet if we get this right. But if we use it as the excuse for accepting toxicity in ourselves and others, I talk about us, I talk about self-focus, I talk about things I'm teaching you that I had to radically change in myself. as well, which I would never have fully understood until I really did some deep work on everything, and to see the truth of how a lot of us live after we've been victimized. The stories we have, the way we behave, that is also not the highest energetic vibration, not the highest intentions for ourselves and for each other and the collective, and actually is becoming part of this toxic mess that is not helping anyone. Sovereignty, personal power, being in your own standards, values and boundaries will change your world individually, everyone around you that meets you, because there will not be the room for any of the other stuff, and help us create so much more on the planet. But you've got to be willing to stand there. Radical truth, radical authenticity, radical responsibility for you. Radical honor for everyone else. Now, not acceptance. I can honor what things are on the planet, and or not honor it necessarily, narcissism in the dark, but I can totally accept it. When I accept it, I can let it go. I accept a demon's a demon. I'm not trying to change the demon anymore. A demon's a demon. I know what it is. I accept what it is. I just, I can release my attachments to it, you see. It's a demon. Okay, I got it, right? End of story. And it becomes an easier healing journey. Yes, there's still emotions and traumas and things to process and heal, but I'm not in any resistance to the truth. Most of us are resisting and in denial about what and who we're dealing with, and we're using empathy as an excuse to allow and enable terrible behavior. So you've got to start with you. My values, right? And if your values and standards and boundaries are sloppy, they need review. Because you will only get in this universe, honestly, what you expect and tolerate and have boundaries, standards and values about. That's how you're an energetic match. If I'm willing to compromise. And by the way, integrity counts. I teach authenticity, integrity. Integrity means truth. It's total alignment with you, what you stand for and the collective. And people think what they do in the dark isn't known. It is. It is by the divine. So when you act out of integrity, you feel it in your soul. So many people are tormented in life that aren't narcissists because they know they're betraying themselves. Don't do it. Stick with the truth, integrity with you. Do not sell your soul, do not sell your spirit. Learn how to be powerful in authenticity, in sovereignty. You'll live a life that's fulfilling there because you won't betray you. And by doing that, you'll honor everyone else. Don't make excuses for people because you understand where they're coming from. I understand. I mean, if you read about the Holocaust, Hitler got refused from university. He was an artist. In one theory, he got so angry and traumatized, traumatizing, narcissists make a spiritual choice, that he started the Holocaust because he put all his creative energy into something else. Was that a big trauma? Who cares? He made a choice to go dark because he didn't get his own way. That's very, very narcissistic, isn't it? When you make excuses, right? So when you have empathy, it's understanding of things. It's awareness. It's wisdom. It's not to start sacrificing yourself. It's not to let go of your values, standards and boundaries. If you track back in time, we'll all see often where we've allowed those things to be eroded because we understood someone. You can actually say, I completely understand where you're coming from. My standards and my boundaries are this. I can't change them for you. And if someone is keep trying to make you, if someone is pouring on emotional manipulation by layering on how hard it is for them or why they need an excuse or an exception, why you should give them another go, this is manipulation. They're trying to emotionally appeal to you when you've already said, this is my standard, this is my boundary. When you have a boundary though, by the way, you've got to be willing to, a boundary is a deal breaker or it's not worth having. So be true to yourself. If you're going to accept someone who does cheat on you sometimes, but you're number one, then be honest. Your boundary isn't monogamy, right? It's majority monogamy. You've got to be really true in this, because if you're not true in it, people will feel it. It's not just what you say. You can say something's your boundary, but you know this with children. If you say to a child your boundary, but they know that they can push you, they'll push you. So you've got to be energetically strong. Guys, you've got to be energetically strong in them, not just what you say. You can't be faking this. Energy is everything. It's not your words, it's your definite energy, you see. And when you're definite in life, things in the universe get definite about you. When you're 1 foot in, 1 foot out, the universe is 1 foot in and 1 foot out with you. Your whole magnetism, your whole energetic matches. Think about not people pleasing, not using your trauma in any way. Think about holding people in the highest honor and respect. When they tell you what the rules are, honor their rules. You're not here to judge other people's standards and boundaries, by the way. You're here to establish your own and stick by them. And to be an energetic match with people sticking by yours, you've got to respect theirs. Not push them, not question them, not ask them why they don't do things a different way. That's not your business. Your business is you. So many of us in these cycles are so focused on everyone else, you've got to get very self-focused. Self-focused, self-partnered, self-sourcing. 3 pillars of sovereign. Please join by Sunday if you can. Lots of love, guys. I'll speak to you soon.